Welcome to Movie of the Year, the only podcast that has the science and the screaming to unequivocally figure out what the best movie is of any given year. This year is 2006, so sew yourself into some tight-ass jeans and follow someone on a bus while muttering how your life is brilliant. Before I introduce this week's panelists, know this show is also a game in which points are awarded for well-made arguments, cogent thoughts about the film, jokes, and anything else I feel like awarding. The winner will be my best friend for a month and have gloating rights. The winner of last week could not be here this week, so I guess I'll introduce a couple of losers first. First loser is Ryan.
First loser is least loser or most loser?
No, least loser.
Or is that the one with the hairy chest? Thanks for having me here, Mike.
Glad to have you. The hairy chest.
I have a hair on my chest. I got the one. I like to curl it around.
It looks like Charlie Brown's head.
Nope. Looks like a giant Charlie Brown hanging off my chest.
Good grief.
Greg, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mike. I did come in third place last week, but
Bronze.
Yeah, but so that is why I have covered myself in bronzer, which is why I have this very healthy-looking tan.
Hey, Greg, that's
Yeah?
for you, buddy. 3 points started off for bronze.
Dang!
So if you biff
triple, doing
It's
a
on
basketball
you.
thing.
Joining our regular ragtag group of misfits is an old friend. He's a podcaster, he's an author, and he's the co-founder of TruStory FM. It's Pete Wright.
I wore a whole hair shirt. Is that not I thought that was the I missed
For your
email.
religious beliefs? For some
Yeah.
Itching to win.
Yes. For every point I lose, I will be here self-flagellating.
Okay, so here's 2, and then they're both gone. So give a
No,
little
you just want to see it happen.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, no shit.
I've watched The Devils last season, and I'm a changed man. I think I got the wrong messages from that movie. I'm looking for those tiny square glasses that the cool
Hell
kids
yeah!
Winner.
Mike, you said funniest movie you saw since Salo, right?
Yeah. One of them made me uncomfortable. It wasn't Sallow. I don't know what that says about me. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're in 2006 when movies were movies. And by that I mean people maybe heard of them. But not tonight's movie, 2006's Brick. In reverse order, Pete, how was your week with Brick? What'd you think?
I hate going first. I absolutely hate it because I'm going to say that I really, really like this movie a lot, and I really worry about what you guys are going to say.
Idiot.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
expand. You liked it. Why?
Yeah, my week with Brick was fantastic because, you guys, high school, I wore a trench coat for a time. I thought of myself as kind of in a noir. You don't do the face. I thought of myself in a film noir movie. This movie captures my headcanon experience of my high school. Like Rian Johnson and me, we didn't go to the same high school, but wink, we went to the same high school. You know what I mean? Like it was. I love revisiting this movie. I am an absolute island amongst my friends, my movie-loving friends and colleagues, who think this movie is ridiculous. And when
so that's
you
why you were a
sent
little
me,
nervous.
oh my God, when you sent me the list of movies, I jumped on Brick so hard, and then I immediately regretted it the moment you said you're in for Brick, because now I'm committed, and so I've been low-key terrified for months.
All your friends that hate Brick, are they big bad wolves?
Did you write that joke like
That
a
was
long
right
time
now,
ago?
baby.
That was run off the dome. Outstanding.
Ryan has
Really
never
impressed.
made up a joke. There's reams of legal pads in front of him every podcast episode that the audience just doesn't get to see.
Yeah. So my week was great.
Excellent. Ryan?
I mean, I do like, this has been a movie that I've loved a little bit like Slither from last week, where I saw it then, loved it then, and then that love kept going without watching it. I was a little nervous before putting this on. I stayed a little nervous for some amount of minutes. And then the main thing I want to talk to you guys tonight about this movie is what he does to just knock you out. Like, so you have no choice. You know, there's so much to fight against, especially if, you know, like you hate earnestness, or if you're that sort of like, if you have a cringe radar, it's really easy to complain about. But this movie is, I want to dive in so bad. It's great. It's great.
I think also, like, if your cringe radar is that big, are the only movies you like first, Cow?
Yeah, I think that like I mean, I think a lot of people like have Pete's thing of like, I'm gonna wear my heart on my sleeve about this movie and say I love it for fear of somebody punching you in the sleeve.
Right.
That would be hard.
Right in the sleeve.
In your heart sleeve.
Punch.
And Greg is making fists right now, so maybe that will be him.
Oh, God.
I throw bones and so get glimpses of how people are feeling. So I kind of knew about Pete. I kind of knew about Ryan. But I got to say, the bones were murky for Greg. Greg, throw them bones.
I think that this is the type of movie that I am going to almost exclusively praise tonight and then come off as the guy that doesn't like it. I feel like you could point to any one aspect. You can point to almost every aspect of this movie and say it's a success. I think that you can... it's a movie that's made to be talked about. It's made to have a podcast about. I think that when it all hangs together as an experience, there is something that is not quite as good as the sum of its parts. I love a lot of the performances. It as a story of like how much it cost to make and how it was put together. Like there is no way anybody could go out and make a movie this good with this budget.
I was wondering about how many times you have to think or say in conversations like this. It was his first movie.
Yeah. And I think that when we focus on like it is a solid noir that is set in high school. I hope we get a chance to talk about whether or not that is actually like a two-way street all the time. But it is like you guys so far the word cringe has come up a lot, which is interesting because it's actually like the coolest movie like that we've talked about maybe this season yet. I mean, this is the third movie we've talked about. Tristram Shandy wasn't exactly cool, but like it by I think embracing what it tries to be, being the fullest version of what it.
I think there's nothing that looks less cool than trying to be cool and whiffing.
Yeah.
And so if you say this is a whiff, I could see you being like, I can't even look at the screen.
Yeah, and like, you know, I don't think every part of it works all the time, and I think that it doesn't achieve everything it sets out to achieve, but I just keep coming back to the fact that he was like, Mom, Dad, please give me $450,000 to make this movie, and then he made that movie like for $450,000, and the movie only made like $4 million, but they only invested for like I kept coming back to that the entire time because you don't think that it cost $15 million to make or anything while you're watching it, but
I would say closer to 15 than 450.
Yeah, you certainly don't think 450.
Less than $500,000 to put together a movie this solid. And so, judging just on like at that level, I think it's a major success. It's enjoyable, but I think that there are some areas in which it doesn't quite work, and in which it feels like not a completely realized like idea. And I also think that sometimes it approaches not like being boring, but almost like flirting with being a little visually bland at moments. And so we're going to get into all this stuff, but all I could say is that I like this movie, I enjoy it, but I think that I'm going to be the guy who comes off sounding like he did not.
I just took a point off of Greg for every time he made me have to scratch out part of the introduction or taste buds questions that are so
I'm sorry. We sometimes we have hints about what the taste bud questions are going to be, and sometimes they are abstruse or little.
I couldn't be more clear. Pete actually got the most clear version of what it is, but as we've said all season, which you guys said we're early in the season, this is the year young Mike discovered movies that don't just explode. And I saw the trailer for Brick, loved it, and then saw it and loved it, and then I think owned it for a while. Brick and Slither and Stranger Than Fiction are the three movies this year that blew me away in 2006 when I was a child, and loved throughout. And yeah, it was a great week at this house as well for Brick.
It's hurtful when you say things like in '06 when I was a child. I don't know, like if I were giving you points,
Yeah, I don't
would
care
take
for
points.
that.
Yeah, away
Well,
for that
I mean,
one.
it's how do you define child? He was only 30. He's a kid. Are we going to really ruin his life?
Because of some posts that he did between the years 30 and 35? No. And some sexting he did between the
So
years
young.
40 and
Whoa,
41?
whoa! James Gunn was last week. This is a whole new thing.
Rian Johnson has done nothing wrong in the eyes of any fandom ever. And it will stay that way. Let's take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, let's talk about Brick.
Baby.
In 1997, a USC grad named Rian Johnson wrote a script that nobody wanted to make. The concept was simple and simply uncommercial. A hard-boiled 1940s detective story set entirely in a contemporary Southern California high school, with teenagers speaking the clipped vernacular of Dashiell Hammett novels that most of them had never read. Johnson spent 7 years pitching into the void, and then did what broke filmmakers always do. Called his family and friends for money, for help with the score, and for help with the cinematography. For $150,000, 20 days in his own high school in San Clemente, and some kid named Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's still trying to break out of being recognized from Third Rock from the Sun, 10 Things I Hate About You, and other number-based projects, Brick was born. He told his cast explicitly not to watch any noir films, but instead made them watch Billy Wilder comedies. He'd go on to win the Special Jury Prize for Originality of Vision at Sundance and made $3.9 million worldwide. And then Rian Johnson went on to direct Looper, The Last Jedi, and the Knives Out trilogy, at which point a very clear through line emerged. This dude is obsessed with the architecture of genre. So taste buds, I ask you this. As we've talked about, Brick gets called a high school noir, but which part is the gimmick and which part is the point? With the 1940s faux slang dropped into a California high school in '06, is Johnson asking us to take it seriously, wink at it, or both simultaneously? Pete?
So my week with Brick response was actually not entirely mine, so I'm going to go ahead and own that. I have felt that way. The way I put it is, it's a fever dream of what I thought high school was. But Rian Johnson said in his 2006 Rotten Tomatoes interview that I only discovered today was Brick is not at all how high school actually was, but it's probably closer to how high school felt than more light, flippant portrayals of teen life. It is, quote, capturing in a very heightened, bold, and impressionistic way what those teen years felt like when you were in them, not from analyzing them from an adult perspective. And I think that's really important because I don't think any of this is a gimmick. I think this is absolutely trying to dig into how high school felt in and sort of from a different vector than a movie like Heathers, which was also trying to dig into how high school felt and the weightiness of every social choice, the absolute daggers that were out all the time, knives that were out all the time. Who knew that would come back around? And so I think the fact that it was never intended as a gimmick is the point. The point is, we take this seriously because this is an emotional truth that he's trying to express, and he's using the tools of noir to do it. That's what makes this movie an important exercise in filmmaking and narrative.
The huge difference, too, is being able to watch it as a kid, which I was when I first saw it. If we're calling 30 a kid, then I was like a little baby. And then watching it 20 years later as a young man, when I was a kid, it was all like, oh my gosh, look at the noir. That's it. And like, that's where all the gimmicks felt. But now it's so clear to me that the high school is the point and the noir is just like the only device that I know how to make it real. I think that the only maybe high school movie realer or more real than Heathers or Brick is Fast Times, because it was like boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it is just old people remembering. And the scenes in here that stuck with me, it's not the like all the quippy dialogue or the made up words or, you know, like the case, but it's like there's a scene where Brendan sees his ex-girlfriend get in a car with like the high school junkie, like the bad boy. And the look on his face, he's not Marlowe in that moment. He's a high school kid. And we all know what that feels like. All of the tropes are here. All of the high school beats are here. It's just that here's the only way that I could tell it like I could tell it. That's just not how I remember the movie.
Yeah, I guess this is my major issue with the movie is I have heard people say this about it, and Rian Johnson was like, the more I wrote the script, the more I realized I was totally capturing the essence of high school. This is a whiz-bang noir set in a high school, and it does all the things that noir needs to do, and then it sets them, like, as the background. There is a high school. But to me, like, and I teach at several high schools, like, in this area. It, to me, does not read in any way that goes the other way. Like, it doesn't seem like... They don't seem like high school kids. There's scenes where they put... And I always question directors doing things like this. There's scenes where they put high school kids in the background, and all it does to me is make me think, wow, that's what babies look like in high school. That's what real kids look like. And they're nothing like anybody is in the foreground here. And the struggles they're having are not they're just not the struggles that high school
That's
kids.
not the point, though.
Yeah, I think that's...
What is the point?
I think the only way to make people not roll their eyes, because what high schoolers take very seriously is fucking stupid. It's, oh, Sammy wrote a note in the notebook we all share to write notes, and she left me out when she was talking about her best friends. Do you know how you get that emotion across? Is you elevate it to literal life and death and a brick ton of heroin that's passing around and nobody knows where it is.
Which it feels
It
like
just
at the
doesn't seem
time.
that
It
way to
feels
me.
like it is the craziest drama of your entire life so far. So it feels as deadly as it does here. Take it like it's also what's not here. If you ask any high school kid, what are your 100 favorite memories of high school? You probably wouldn't in the top 100 hear a teacher's name or a class's name. And those are completely taken out of this movie because that's not what we remember. It's all this headcanon stuff.
What
like Pete
things
said.
would you remember from high school then?
All of the stuff outside, all of the drama, and the drama that seemed very small now
But it wouldn't
was
be
everything then.
It wouldn't be the drama as portrayed in this movie, right? It would just be that there's drama in this movie, and it's analogous. Like the emotional stakes are somehow similar to what the emotions that people feel in high school. So it's not the actions, it's not the locations. It's just like the
I
the
think
intensity
locations
of
for
feeling.
sure. I definitely hung out behind fucking oh my or whatever, and like in random alleyways and rivers. I think that you are trying to escape adults, and I think there's like 2 adults. In
I
this
mean, look
whole
at it
movie.
like,
But one of
I
them's
never built-
Shaft.
and the other one, Mary Kay Place. We got 2, right, in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I also never like built a robot, but I do know what it's like to feel like I'm with the wrong parents, to want to escape my city, to like have this weird old guy who seems to have some sort of attraction to me. And I don't know what the attraction means, to follow him on adventures. Like all of these high school stories have to take these tropes and then put them into the genre. And I just think that this was much more high school forward for me than I remembered.
I think that's the trick of it too. I think that's the piece. Like I don't think I think that when I think back to my high school experience, exactly to Mike's point, like I remember the weight of the relationships. I don't remember a lot of the specificity. I remember how I felt. I remember what I thought I looked like, even though I didn't. I remember how good I'm sure those wingtips that I inherited from my dad when my feet were finally big enough actually looked with my jeans. And I'm sure they did not look cool. But I felt they looked cool. And that's what this movie captures for me. It captures an emotional weight far beyond the actual drama that has been sort of supplanted on top of it, and that's what's more important. And so I go, Greg, how do you remember high school? Like, don't think about like your impression of high school kids that you see today. Who were you in high school? Can't you? And can you really not see yourself in this
As
space?
a hero.
I guess I was worried about fitting in with people. I was worried about like developing friendships with people. I was worried about like what my future would hold. I was worried about like whether or not I was going to get into college. Where are those things in this movie? Or do we just say it's not the same things? Now, instead of like relationships, he's worried about drugs. And instead of like...
No, for me,
Oh,
it was,
no. I
I
think
have
you're.
no idea
I
what
think
to
you
make
actually
of the girl in
describing
the drama
it.
class.
Yeah,
I have no idea
No.
what to make of the girl in the drama class and what she feels about me and if she's manipulating me or not. That and then to turn her into a femme fatale and like the extreme of what possibly it could be in my journal. That's what we're doing here.
Yes, yes. And the fact is, you have guys like Tug and the Pin, whose relationship is elevated to thug and drug dealer and drug kingpin. But what is that really? It's two guys who don't know how to have a relationship with each other, but maybe have this one thing in common, but they don't know how to have friendships. They don't know how to relate to one another, right? That's what the movie is really like. The emotional weight of their experience has nothing to do with any literal interpretation of what's going on screen, but it feels huge. It feels
And I think
massive.
The only thing that we're missing, and I appreciate this about this movie from so many other like post noirs, is reading a noir in your bed and falling asleep, and then the movie happens. And so all of the people from your life are cast in wherever they go. That section is cut out, and I'm glad for it. It really adds to like the blast of energy that the movie gives you. But that's sort of what it is that like Brendan kind of sucks, and here he doesn't.
Yeah, because here he has authority and agency, and he's a loner, but he's also unafraid to, one, get beaten, and two, lay a beat down on a guy, right?
Which, again, that's very noir, but doesn't seem at all like a high school experience to me.
But it feels exactly like what my experience was in my head.
Right. It's the internal, I think, being that weird, angry kid who can't connect, but also can't, so he decides it's because he doesn't want to, but he is obsessed with his two ex-girlfriends. One who he turns into the villain and goes to her for free information, but also just, I think, to get shit on and to shit on her back, and the other that he won't let be a human. She is only that pedestal. Like, this is a fucking emo song instead of in 3 minutes, it's in 90 minutes. But like that.
Taking Break
like,
Sunday.
These people, oh fuck, man. These people aren't people. He's turning them all including himself into archetypes. And really, I think it makes me happy for you, Greg, that it didn't feel so life and death.
I was like, I liked to like hang out and I liked to play video games. And like, I had a ton of relationships with adults. I mean, I was like, I would say like most of my time was interacting with like my parents, interacting with my teachers.
Okay, I think we found the problem. Like when I was this age, every adult was an enemy no matter what.
And that's just that wasn't the way it was for me. I mean, I spent a lot of time reading. I noticed Brendan is like a reader, but he seems kind of smart, but he like there's one conversation about books ever. And in fact, I think that the most teenage moment in the entire movie is when he's sitting with the Pin on the beach, and suddenly they just very much do seem like two kids. And it's like, oh man, have you ever read Tolkien? And this is back when people like, well, no, I guess 06 we all knew who Tolkien was. And he's like, I just really like the way he describes things. And then he like kind of stares off into the beautiful sunset. That felt like a very teenage moment to me. And it's not that I didn't have like, I had big emotions, but every movie deals with like characters having big emotions. It feels like you just have to keep saying, well, it's not these experiences. It's how these experiences feel to these characters, which is also exactly how noir characters feel in noir movies. Again, I feel like it captures noir perfectly. Everything is like beat perfect for noirs. I just feel like it's pretend to then say like, it makes sense to set this all in a high school.
With that, so we're not just circling around, what do you think the high school adds to the noir or takes away from it?
What do I think it adds to or takes away from? Yeah. I think the high school adds nothing to the noir. It doesn't like it feels like it is the backdrop. It feels like it is the setting, you know? To me, it just doesn't really feel like there is a connection there. It feels like it is a place where he can use these noir beats, and that as he did it, he decided this is like a really great idea. These two things mix really well. But like, I mean, for me, honestly, when I was in high school, often I was stressed out by having to do homework. I was stressed out by the experience of high school. And these kids are like not dealing with any of that kind of stress. And it's like, maybe that is because I was a dork or something like that, but it's just like, it doesn't actually like, I don't know. I would expect more interaction with teachers. I would expect more having to get like the high school part of life done rather than there's like one adult in this whole universe. Well, the Pin's mom.
Yeah, and I think we're just like, we're overestimating how much the high school part means of high school. And I didn't worry about high school or homework at all. And it seems like Greg did. And it's crazy that we both ended up in the same place as millionaire podcasters. We both landed the plane, baby.
I guess what it says to me is that my high school experience was just very different. I was more like the kids in the background that you see walking around actually like going to class and doing high school. This feels like Euphoria before Euphoria came around.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really astute comparison, although I will say I haven't watched a single episode of Euphoria, and I don't think I ever will. I watched Assassination Nation. That's all I needed. I came here tonight thinking, I think if I'm going to fight with anybody, it's going to be Greg. And I had no idea that I would end up feeling just so sad for you, Greg.
I also think that one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and I think that his ability to turn this into absurdity in a very subtle way with like quiet on-ramps is I think what really worked for me. And that's what made the high school part of it so great. And Greg, maybe for you, like you were just like, why can't I just watch a noir? Like,
or why isn't this more? I mean, again, we strongly disagree on this point, so maybe it's not worth constantly talking about. But why doesn't this feel at all like my high school experience? I'll tell you this much: when I was in high school, I was interested in girls, but girls weren't interested in me. Maybe that is kind of a key difference here in some way. But like, I just. To me, this could have been set on a college campus. It could have been set in a mental institution. It could have been set like I expected there to be correspondence between the noir elements and the high school elements in a way that you all feel, and I just didn't.
Yeah, it's the feelings you have during high school, not the practical parts of high school.
But see, I am talking about my feelings. Like I am talking about the things that I experienced and felt. Like the emotions were dialed up because I was a high schooler. But it just like it.
But yeah, the love lost and moving clicks and danger wasn't there. We're talking in circles. We're gonna take the quiz breaks, and we come back. Not brick. That's right. It's time to build a little mountain. But a bunch of chopped presidents aren't what we're gonna dedicate this to. It's the It Boys of 2006. Who's hot and who's hot to trot? Probably. Let's start with you, Greg.
We had a major problem in 2006, and it was that something had happened to Sexy. Nobody quite knew what it was. I think it had something to do with Carl's Jr. commercials, but Sexy had just absolutely evaporated. It was gone. Enter into the scene one Justin Timberlake, who was bringing Sexy back. Thank God for Justin Timberlake. And honestly, we didn't know that he would turn out to be so problematic. Who could guess that a guy who was famous when he was very young could actually turn out to not be a totally nice guy? But at the time, we were just so glad to have Sexy back.
We're friends again, Greg. That's what you stole.
Oh, thank goodness.
It was on my list. We're in violent agreement again.
Great pick. Right to the maybe pile. Ryan?
The first thing I always do is look for People's Sexiest Man, because People is like the Bible about this kind of stuff. But I want to hit 2006 even deeper than that. People doesn't know what's hot then until 20 years later when we can finally say it. And what I want to do is go to Texas. I want to pick up a football. I want my stringy, dirty bangs to be hanging out of my football helmet. Taylor Kitsch. We know this is only his only year eligible because, man, did he fall off the planet fast after this. But what a hottie boombalati.
No, we're going to talk about John Carter.
Oh, of course.
07, probably? No?
And Battleship? Man, he
fucking
whiffed and whiffed and whiffed.
What a bummer. Taylor Kitsch, maybe pile. Pete?
I feel like there's a certain air of sophistication that is missing so far from the mountain, and I would like to remind you that Blue Trunks wade out of the waves in 2006 as Daniel Craig dons the 00. And I think it's even more appropriate that James Bond First Light, 007 First Light, hits PlayStation this year, and we get to connect it to James Bond rebooting the franchise yet again with Casino Royale, which was fantastic. And he then became, I'll say this because we're not talking about Bond, my favorite Bond of the entire franchise. That's it. Moving on.
So,
no
Pete,
argument.
you're going to nominate adult men. Okay. Me and Greg will handle the other side over here.
You
I
already
might
took two
nominate
that are
some
on my
adult
list.
man.
Do it right now, Greg. Put your money where your mouth is.
But I'm not going to do it just yet. Mike, you mentioned this show earlier. It's called Third Rock from the Sun. And there was this beautiful little girl on this show. Long brown hair. Turns out, not a girl, even though the hair is so long and she was so pretty. It turns out that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, perhaps one of our greatest actors. If I have problems with this movie, it has nothing to do with his performance, which is absolutely amazing and spellbinding the entire time. And I don't know if you've ever seen the guy personally talk. He's kind of a dweeb, and he pulls off being cool in basically every role he's in. And it's an act, everybody. He's a dweeby dweeb. But if you can appear to be a hunk, then you are a hunk. And so for the reason for the season, I'm going Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Was the Kirsten Johnson, was she a man in a woman's body?
She was. He was an old guy the oldest of them was Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, and he was the kid. And I think she was a guy, and she was.
So they just flipped everything on his
Yeah,
head.
dude, they just kept us guessing the entire time.
Do you guys remember if anybody can do their salute, you're going to get 5 points right now.
No? Okay. Bad
I got
podcasting.
it.
Yeah, I'm too afraid to attempt any motions.
I did not know, people listening at home, that if you got it wrong, it was worth, you got negative
Well,
points.
you did it
So.
sarcastically. Is it a normal salute? No, it's like you grab that and then you switch it like that.
That doesn't seem familiar at all.
I don't think I would have gotten
That's why you guys
there.
need to be on our YouTube because you could see that sweet salute. Ryan,
Yes.
give me something.
I want to talk about a guy in 2006 who he's a rock star. And typically, if you're the hot rock star, you're the lead singer. But what if you lose that job to a guy who looks like the manager of a Blockbuster video, and your only choice now is just to get poutier and then hotter, and then a little bit sassier and angrier, but that makes you hotter? Pete Wentz, 2006, is all about the Pete Wentz.
Pete Wentz is on this mountain.
Ooh. Wow. Right away. Right now, I'm picturing what Pete Wentz looks like, and I'm like, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
A young, who's the guy from It's Always Sunny? Mac? A young Mac.
Oh.
That's sort of what he looks like.
All right. Can't go
But
wrong
with
with that.
thick eyeliner. And the tightest little hoodie and the sweatiest fucking club you've ever been to. Our Pete Wentz, what do you got?
Okay, just because I was roundly shamed for picking an adult who was awesome and hot and nobody had heard
No
of
one's
him
saying
until
he's not
then.
hot, Pete.
I'm just saying I'm going to go back to something that I came to, let's say, late as an adult. So it feels a little weird picking this one from 2006. But the guy went on to make some really interesting choices and prove in big budget motion pictures that he is a true song and dance man's song and dance man. Of course, at this point in our lives, he was just premiering in High School Musical. It's
You're
Zac
a Greatest
Efron.
Showman fan, aren't you?
Don't even start with me. The dancing on the bar, I'll watch that all day long.
Zac Efron on the mountain. Greg, who do you got?
In 2006, again, there's a lot we didn't know. We weren't prepared yet. There was a guy who was already a great actor, and he still was in 2006. And then it was like, you hear this song? This amazing song you're hearing right now? That's this crazy actor as well. Jared Leto showed that he could do two things before we realized that he couldn't actually do either one of those things. And he did it. You want to talk about, if this movie gets as far as it gets because, it commits to the bit, Jared Leto was so committed to, the artiste persona at this time, and I think it gave him a lot of attractive gravitas.
And then he became committed to killing franchises.
And then it's just like it just went on too long, and then he didn't know how to like recalibrate, and then he kind of lost control of it. Yeah,
We're at the point now where I could see like DC being, I will give you $20 million to star in the next Marvel movie.
I mean, he's in that He-Man movie, and they're trying to pretend like he's not.
Oh yeah,
They don't even mention that he's in the movie, and
Guys,
he plays the villain.
They
You
do
fucked
credit
up.
him at the
You
end. I
cast
was surprised
anybody.
about that.
I know.
It is Morbin time, though.
You know what, Greg? Let's all remember. It is, and shall always be, Morbin time. Let's speed round. Ryan.
I would like to go with, now, if you were not watching certain TV shows, you had no idea what the fuck all these Mick nicknames were. But to a certain audience, they were very big to be called McDreamy or McSteamy. So Patrick Dempsey, a guy that I remember from like movies before my time as the heartthrob, went away and then came back as an adult heartthrob in Grey's Anatomy. Patrick Dempsey.
And he's Mick.
Dreamy.
Oh, okay.
Steamy?
No, I don't know.
Did you just call him McCreamy?
Yeah.
That's rough sailing. I don't care.
All of the nicknames sound like delicious McDonald's sandwiches.
Also, fun fact: you just mentioned someone from Grey's Anatomy, a show that was on in 2006.
I know, dude.
Grey's Anatomy is a going concern. That is a TV show right now. How is that possible?
It's soap
Shonda
operas.
Rhimes.
It's the classic, the soap opera that lasts 40 years.
Yeah.
Only in prime time has Grey's Anatomy be like, we can do that.
It's all because of Busta Rhymes' most famous daughter, Shonda.
Man, we are crushing speed and speed around here. Pete, what do you got?
I don't know how to quit you, Heath Ledger.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I know. I went for the tearjerker. What do you got?
Your Mount Rushmore, if I can find my mouse, of 2006 is, I've already said Pete Wentz, I've already said Zac Efron, and then rounding that out is your Daniels Craig and your Taylor's Kitsch. So that is your
We
Mount
mocked you,
Rushmore.
Pete.
That could not
your
have
Mount
worked
Rushmore
out better for me. Could
For
not
those at
have
home,
worked out
Pete just
better.
flexed until his shirt ripped off. So
We're going to take the quick breaks, and we come back. More Brick. Some have called Rian Johnson an incredible screenwriter and a capable filmmaker, with the emphasis landing hard on that distinction. Does Brick back that up? The screenplay is dense, elusive, and commits completely to its conceits. Visuals are washed out, suburban, and deliberately unglamorous. So is that a bold choice that pulls all the attention on the language and the plot, or is it just visually bland? Let's start with you, Ryan.
I think that this is sometimes a lot of directing, sometimes not enough directing as a choice. Like, I'm going to leave the camera here. I think that this is a new kid on the block. I think that there's a lot of stuff that he would have done that's flashier in the future. And I don't think I've seen a Rian Johnson movie that I don't like. So like, I'm a big defender of him as both screenwriter and filmmaker, led by the screenplay always and his genre choices. I think here there is always a decision, and that's what I appreciate. And I think that if he were to watch it now, although Pete reading his interviews makes it seem like that guy fucking loves this movie. Like, Rian Johnson might like this movie more than anybody else. But I think I could see him constantly thinking, oh, I should have done something else. A lot of it seems like, what's the coolest way to look at this? And I do think that we have to give a ton of credit to the cinematographer, which is his friend, right? Brian Johnson. I think that him, like,
Brian
the
Ross.
way that a lot of this stuff is staged with the gross-ass San Clemente behind it, just like the least city that we've, or it's like the worst parts of a beautiful city, actually.
Yeah.
I think that that's doing a lot of the work, whereas his pacing is sometimes great and his pacing is sometimes buddy. Like, I think we missed the boat on this one.
Yeah, this is when I keep coming back to the budget of the movie, which probably, like, at some point you have to, like, divorce your criticism of the movie from how much it costs to make. But I think if he had more money to throw at this movie and could get more locations and maybe more, like, lights or something.
It's time. It's money is time.
Yeah, it's there are some very arresting shots though that I really liked. There's a lot of space in between them, but like the shot of the light streaming into the other part of the basement in the Pin's house, where the literal brick is actually being kept. That's gorgeous. The going down to the beach of San Clemente as the sun sets, that's gorgeous. When Brendan picks up the clock or whatever and throws it at Kara, the actress, and the way she like raises up and then her head is right in the middle of the broken mirror. There are very cool shots in it. There's just a lot of like, I don't know, kind of like bland visuals. And maybe that's because it's like high schoolers hang out behind the high school. They hang out behind the grocery store. They hang out at the riverbed. And so those are just not very like interesting locations in a way. But
honestly, to listen to Greg list that stuff, it sort of makes it feel like these 10 scenes have 1 day each. Yeah. And then these 30 scenes we're going to get done in 2 days. And then you could just see the thought from scene to scene.
Not to say, though, that it doesn't work. And I think that, if you haven't, Rian Johnson released a whole bunch of his stuff, all of his shooting scripts and documents on his website that you can download. And he released the what is called Brick, the treatment novella type thing by Rian Johnson with illustrations, the original illustrations by Nassim Kavari. And that is a really interesting read because all of the illustrations are essentially the storyboards that look exactly like characters and places that he captured in the movie. So I'm hard pressed to discount stuff because it looks bland when the high school memory that it feels like he's trying to capture was not the most high dynamic range of locales. Like
it feels like he's going for like a near black and white.
Yes, totally desaturated. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's valuable because like there is a lot of depth to like the darkness in this movie several times over, and I could see the value to like basically having it be kind of black and white, especially then there are pops of color that are very arresting, like the visual cue of Emily's bracelet. Like, the blue of her bracelet is probably the brightest color in the entire movie. And
sure.
I love stuff like that as a viewer because it's like you see a dead body, and then you see the dead body with that blue bracelet, and then you see that blue bracelet on a living character, and then you see it on a body in a car. And the whole time, as the viewer, you're like, I know who that is because I've seen that bracelet a bunch. And so it makes it, like, pop and stand out, and it helps you just, like, remember what's going on in a way.
Yeah, and I think he's nailing that part of it. But he's also, as a filmmaker, he is I don't know if I would call him a great American director yet, like he needs a life, but he is certainly a great American genre mechanic. Like everything that he's done, if you look at his whole catalog, he's taken a beloved rule-bound genre, right? He starts with like noir and high school movies, and then he does a con movie and time travel sci-fi and Star Wars and Agatha Christie whodunits, and he asks kind of what happens if you honor the machinery completely but pull one load-bearing part out and see what happens. And Brick is a great example of that. It's this noir high school, it's this noir Jenga tower, and he yanks out the brick that has people playing adults and wearing trilbies, and suddenly you have this high school movie that he is still making a flamboyant, beautiful, even though desaturated, exposition of this feeling. And I think that's something that he has a skill that I think was that's why, apparent early.
I think that's why Tarantino is so much more copied and Rian Johnson is not, is because to the layman, Tarantino is like, I watched movies as a kid, now I can do whatever I want. It's obviously not that, but that's how it can read. Whereas once you try to figure out, oh, maybe I can do a Rian Johnson, and then you realize, oh no, he's following like 99% of the rules, and then he's doing something clever for that other 1%. That's way, way, way harder.
And it's like it's so interesting. Like if you like noir stories, you are going to love this movie because it follows those beats in an almost like religious way, and it's so gratifying. Like you don't know. I didn't feel, except for like one or two turns in the movie, I didn't feel like I knew what was going to happen. But when things did happen, I found them gratifying because they reminded me so much of like, this is how this noir universe should work. This is what should happen now. And it's like, if he didn't set this in a high school, then you would not even think twice about the dialogue or about the twists and turns in the movies. It's probably what makes it interesting to people is it's set in a high school, but its fidelity to noir, and it is what I think I found most gratifying about it and what I found most interesting about it.
Could you see somebody though that loves noir hating this movie in almost the same way? Like, I think a perfect double feature would be The Long Goodbye, because here's two people that like don't belong in the genre floating through it, making decisions for sure, but like what you're watching is, this is not Sam Spade, this is not Philip Marlowe, but what we have are two movies that by two people who know the genre the best and aren't giving us exactly what we want. And that takes the person who knows it the best to do it. You know, if you know it, if you're like a B- noir writer, you can make a great one. But it takes somebody like this to know exactly what Jenga bricks to pull out or strings to pull.
Looking at Johnson's career since Brick, which is all of it, because this is what started it. Specifically towards the end, we've gotten Poker Face and the Knives Out trilogy. Does rewatching Brick suggest like he found his lane early and has just been perfecting it with some other genres mixed in the middle there? Or I don't have an or. Is that it? Is this or can he do it? And did Star Wars scare him? Could if Star Wars hadn't happened and the fan reaction, would we have gotten a Johnson Western, a Johnson historical? But now he's like, you know what? Nobody's mad when I do my detective features.
I mean, he made probably the most interesting Star Wars movie that there is. Like, and I think that people wouldn't hate it or love it if it weren't the most interesting Star Wars movie. I think the fact that people have big reactions to it one way or the other. One thing I kept thinking about in this movie is how I was thinking about The Last Jedi. Think of how much in The Last Jedi turns around the fact that when they go to that casino planet, they illegally park. And that's why they get in trouble. That's why like so much action that comes after that is because they're illegally parked on a beach. And that's just not the kind of thing that happens in a Star Wars movie, but it's the kind of thing that happens in real life. Just like in the way how much action is motivated in Brick by the fact that the football player sends that guy to slice him, I guess, to cut him up with a knife. And for so long, they're not exactly sure what that guy was doing, like, or what his purpose was in it. And it's ancillary to the plot. It has nothing to do with what's going on.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I just find that very like a fascinating, very realistic element that he employs, which is that not everything is part of the machinery of the plot. Sometimes things in life just kind of happen and they actually are very confusing, and it's because they're not connected to the narrative string.
I love the knifer, the hired knifer, because in a movie full of kids acting in a world that's not theirs, almost Bugsy Malone style, like they're out of their element or like they're bringing this element to themselves. Then we have another kid who is actually acting like a kid trying to do this crime shit and failing like a kid would. So we have something to compare it to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think you were going to say something earlier about taking it to absurdity. And I think there's a special nuance to the absurdity in this film in particular when we get the scenes with Mom, right? When Mom is an anchor to an absolutely normal situation with kids at a kitchen table. But because the rest of the movie is so deeply committed to the noir bit, normalcy becomes complete absurdity. And that is like, that's straight up expert tone management.
The fact that the Pin, the scariest person in town, in front of him has a cookie on a napkin, that's just brilliant,
I know.
dude.
And the way the mom says after she pours the apple juice, she's like, so I'm going to go in the other room now. Wow, that is such a great mom line. Like, she's obviously not in on it. She's not totally sure what's going on. She's glad that her son finally has friends, because the part of what is going on with the Pin is he is 26 and he hangs out with high schoolers. That is something that I do remember from high school, is that there would be like one...
You have to have one.
One dude in his mid-20s. And in high school, you're kind of like, this is odd, right? And then later, you're like, oh, that was very odd. But she's just glad he's got buddies. Everybody over in their wife beaters hanging out. She's going to go in the other room. If you need anything, give a shout.
I don't remember that from high school, but in my 20s, I do remember suddenly just a bunch of teenagers being around for some reason.
It goes both ways, Mike. It can happen both ways.
Or the other. We've talked about his tone management, his management of genre. The plot itself, and maybe we've answered it, but does it reward rewatching and scrutiny, or does it collapse once you know how everything shakes out?
I paid really close attention trying to be like, oh, I'm going to get every bit of this. And I know I didn't, but that's such noir tradition too,
Yeah.
Like, there's so many screenwriters that said, I don't fucking know what happened, which is not something you should go into the screenplay doing on purpose, but it happens, and like I don't think it really affects anything because we're there for mood, we're there for tone. We're not there to see, like, I don't really care what happens to the brick.
What's so important, I think, in noir movies is there has to be some conversation, or noir stories, there has to be some conversation early on that is inscrutable to the audience. That if you go back and after you've done the entire thing makes sense to you. And that's the way Brick really does pay off. Everything that is said early on that is like very hard to understand. And sometimes as the audience member, you're not sure if it's because they're using slang from 1930 or because they're using like the language of this movie. But if you go back and listen to like Emily's phone call at the beginning of this movie, she's laying out exactly what's happening. So I think it's rewarding. The only thing about it that I think it falls down on the job a little bit is the instigating action of the entire movie is that, or not of the entire movie, but of so much of it, is that Emily gets killed. That's the first thing we know, is that this girl is going to die. Even when Brendan first gets like drawn into it, the viewer is thinking, it's okay, something's going to happen where this girl dies. And then he finds out that Tug killed her, and because it would be really disastrous for the movie for him to like immediately exact revenge, or because he, in his words, like, I wanted to figure out, like, Tug pulled the trigger, but I wanted to figure out who put her in front of the gun. He has to like not kind of care that much that Tug killed her, and that was the only element that felt like a kind of perhaps a little bit of a false note, that it would ruin the movie if he decided, okay, well now I'm just going to kill Tug and then I maybe won't know what happened. But that just feels like maybe a little bit more of a human reaction, especially when everything going on is, I love Emily, I just want her back, I want to avenge her, I have to figure out what happened. And then it's kind of like he figures out what happened to some degree, and he's like, I'm going to bide my time and see if I can figure out like who's really to blame. Not the guy that fucking murdered her, but the person that set her up to be murdered by this guy.
I get what you're saying, that the knee-jerk reaction would be to go off right there, even though Tug has a gun.
Him and Tug like are almost buddies. Like from that point forward, it's almost like he's like, it's almost like, well, I'm not going to be mad at the gun for shooting Emily, so I'm not really mad at Tug.
He also gets Tug killed. He gets everybody killed.
But how does he get? He gets Tug killed by kicking the gun back in the, because Tug gets killed by trying to shoot his way out, right?
Well, yeah, like he gets Tug and the pin killed. Like,
and I just don't think he's that kind of action hero. Like, he's not going to spin it as being cowardly. He's going to spin it as being like thoughtful, but. That's just, I also wouldn't kill the person that killed my girlfriend.
Pussy.
I know. But, it's something that I regret every day.
And he doesn't get Tug killed, right? Tug dies because that the brick is missing at a key moment, and then there's a gunfight, and the gunfight leads to the cops being called, and then Tug tries to shoot his way out.
I think we're led to believe that he did say, and this is the not showing everything, is that he guessed the brick would be missing. Because and he put Emily's corpse in the trunk. So it was, these people are going to die or these people are going to jail. And
that's why he offers to like shoot the drugs, because even though he knows they're poison, he doesn't think the brick is going to be there. That makes sense.
And he's the only one smarter than Laura.
He orchestrated everything because of that sequence on the field that we get to find out, who's, she was pregnant for 3 months. Whose do you think that was? Right? Like, that's the motivating, we come to find out that's his operating sort of motivation. Everything else is the Maltese Falcon. This whole movie is the Maltese Falcon. And he was just looking to avenge this person that he still very much loved and cared for.
Real quick, going back to the direction, the Rian Johnson direction, and like the plot, I don't know how much I would get from a rewatch, but what I would really want to do a rewatch for is specifically JGL in the frame. And the way that it is, like the camera works with that actor, I think is so purposeful, and that's giving away a lot of the story too, of where he is in the frame, when he's at the top, when he's at the bottom, when he's right and when he's wrong. When people go away from him, like it's to die, when people get closer to him in the frame, it's because he's sucking them towards them to get more information out of. He's never like on the level with maybe anybody except for Brain. and even that is he's sort of like a whipping boy. But everything on screen in accordance to JGL, I think, is what he's really doing with his camera.
Well,
Yeah, I think so
not
too. I think
topping
JGL
that.
has some real orbit. Like he has some real gravitational pull with regard to camera. I think that's a really astute point. And I think you can see it if you trace how he uses camera with his principles in The Brothers Bloom. And I don't, certainly Poker Face, right? And go back to how he uses Walter White in those episodes he did of Breaking Bad, like any that have that sort of tonal switch. And I think he's using that same kind of orbital approach that he starts right here.
We're going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, let's go visit part of the studio we haven't seen in a second. Take it in. Smell it, boys. That mustiness, that sharp tang of cold marble. It's the Pop Filter Hall of Fame. And it's been a minute since we've been here. I love, like, a slight dankness.
This is mustier, right?
Yeah, well, we haven't been in a season, and normally we have a coal cleaning crew come in and flip it, and we did not.
It's old church. It's giving old church.
It's giving
yeah.
old church. It's giving.
It's certainly giving pew.
5-story under the apartment building parking garage. I fucking love it. It's my favorite genre of smell. We're talking about genres tonight. There's something about it. But we're here to add some heads. We want to build a bust of the people who made us us. And Pete, feel free to tell us if we're fools or if we're heroes.
Those are the two.
Yeah.
Those are the only two. Okay.
I
good.
couldn't think of what the
Got
opposite
it.
of a fool is, or anything in between.
Genius.
A genius is somewhere in between
A
hero
brain.
and
Aloof.
fool. We each get 2 votes, and to get in, you have to be unanimously voted in, and there will be 3 submissions today, which means people would be disappointed. Greg, who are you submitting?
Okay. Even now, I am afraid that I have somehow failed to remember that we put this man in the Pop Filter Hall of Fame. It might be one of these that is like too obvious, or we just never got around to doing it. But when I think of Rian Johnson, I think of the first movie of his that I ever knew that I think of the first movie of his I ever saw, which was Looper. And I fucking loved Looper. That has an actor in it that was also in Die Hard.
No
Pulp
fucking
Fiction,
way.
The Sixth Sense. I told you we were going to have the same one. The Sixth Sense, Moonrise Kingdom, The Fifth Element, 12 Monkeys, and that's right, the hit TV show Moonlighting, which is a good show and was very big in my house as a kid. Bruce Willis is amazing, and I cannot believe he's not in our Pop Filter Hall of Fame. He transformed a genre of movies into one that we love. Before him, action heroes were always just like, I'm the best that's ever done this, and I'm totally comfortable with this. He gave us the kind of like average Joe trying to figure out how to do it, but he also had the range to be like the lovable cop in Moonrise Kingdom. I watched, for reasons we'll talk about later, I rewatched Looper this week, and it's kind of bittersweet because he obviously has a type of dementia that has like erased all his memories, and there's so much in Looper about like his memory being hazy and him not being able to really remember what's real and what isn't, and watching him deliver those lines when he was probably at the very beginning of this journey was very sad. But what you get out of Looper is Joseph Gordon-Levitt also playing Bruce Willis, like a younger version of him, and he does a really good job at it. So you get Willis versus Willis. Believe it or not, folks, he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I think he should be. Ryan, you want to take it from here?
Honestly, I'm shocked. Like, the podcast is built on his back. Our friendships are. I would never think of it because he obviously already is in.
Yeah.
And Greg, goddamn, we could wrap it up right now.
I think, if you both have the same person, maybe my guy.
I don't, but I'm.
Guy,
you don't?
No,
oh, okay.
I'm just sad.
Because here's what I thought. I thought we were all going to have the same movie recommendation, and that because we were all going to have the same movie recommendation, we were all going to have the same Hall of Fame recommendation, but I'm glad you have a different one.
I think it's because Alan Rickman got in, and so our brains during Die Hard, so our brains went, "We did it,"
Yeah.
instead of revisiting ever. Pete, are we fucking fools for Bruce Willis not being in here?
100% you are. I didn't want to say it out loud. I wanted you guys to come to that on your own. But the moment Greg started talking, I thought, this is ridiculous. Why is this segment going on so long?
Well then, Ryan, who do you got?
I am going to pick somebody who is harkening back to last week's episode of Slither. And I think that there's somebody who is so foundational for all the movies that we love. Okay, not all the movies that we love, but for a lot of the movies that we love.
And he couldn't be in all of them, right?
Yeah, like, you can't just do everything. But I think that Sam Raimi coming up with the Coens and then breaking off to sort of be, I would say, Romero-esque as far as his influence into what we watch in horror right now, of like being that sort of king baby of having that like low budge, you're going to make it work for you, which I think that Brick does have some Sam Raimi in it as well. And sort of creating this genre of like horror can be fun but still scary. Last week, my recommendation was Widow's Bay. Sam Raimi is influential there. Anything that, if you have anything to do with Widow's Bay, I think you should go into the Hall of Fame right now. Katie Dippold, wait for the call.
You're
it's
on
coming
notice.
Soon. You're on notice. But yeah, I think that almost in any genre that sort of revels in the fact that it is a genre movie, not trying to be above it, but trying to like just rub it in your face, I think owes a huge debt of gratitude to Sam Raimi. And James Gunn, I think, would be the first to say that.
Pete, commentary?
Yeah, I mean, I just wish, Ryan, for your sake, I wish Greg hadn't opened with Bruce Willis. That's all I'm saying. It's not a bad pick. It's just the wrong
I changed my pick to Bruce Willis.
Well, look, you never want to undercut your own pick here. But I'm going to be honest. These are Titans. And I have somebody who's newer in our life. And I actually realized, I don't know how everybody who's voting feels about this person. But he is in my ears a lot. And I know based on text feeds, in your guys' ears a lot. He teaches us how to embrace. It's okay to speak dumb. And really dig your heels in when you say a word wrong and fight the fans when they try to correct you.
If you nominate Pete Wright, this is going to be so
and to maybe like embrace your cattiness. It is Michael Hobbs of numerous podcasts that we listen to. And sometimes you walk up and down the halls and go, everybody should be here who's in here because you forgot about Bruce Willis and Sam Raimi. So
I have to say, I love this pick. I mean, he's more recent, obviously, but he's delightful. He's great at research. He's a beautiful host or co-host to a podcast. He's a titan of like this genre. I mean, he's very good at it, and he manages to like not always be the snarkiest person in the room, and yet still often be the funniest and most informed.
I will say though that Bill Watterson is in the Hall of Fame. Is that enough Hobbs?
Also, we did put the movie Hobbs and Shaw
That's
in,
true.
which was a weird choice in retrospect.
I think it beat Bruce Willis in that run.
it's going to stand the test of time out of all the Fast and Furious movies.
Wait,
I'm so
Hobbs
sorry
and
for all of
Shaw?
you guys. I'm so sorry that this is happening.
All right, let's vote. We will start with the return of Bruno. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis. Greg, what's your vote?
I'm an enthusiastic yes. I literally checked the Hall of Fame like 3 times today to confirm that he was not in there because I could not believe it.
Ryan?
There's a part of me that wants to vote no because I should be the one to nominate Bruce Willis.
That would be so funny.
But I am a yes.
And I vote yes. So Bruce Willis, welcome
Oh, yeah.
to the Hall of Fame.
going to be in the Hall of Fame. Have a great time.
Next up is Sam Raimi. Ryan, start with you.
I'm a yes.
Greg.
Mike, I have to say, you did something so heroic today.
The
which
bravery.
Yeah, I mean, really. You just like, we only get 2 picks, and you're like, I got you. Don't worry, my friends.
And we'll talk after the show if Mike threw that out there just because He wanted 2 people in.
Hopefully, his display will just be a screaming face that fills up the entire screen, because I think that would really mean a lot. But yeah, I'm a yes.
For people just listening, Pete's points did go up while shit was being talked on me right there. Wait,
I'm alive.
Brian, did you already vote?
I'm a yes.
You're a yes. Greg's a yes. I'm a yes. Sam, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Hobbs,
2.
comma Michael. Not this time, baby. What a
Wait,
good
we don't have to
class.
go through the rigmarole?
You know what? Let's hear. Mike, what's your vote? It's just sometimes you go up against a hard class. I don't know if we're gonna make it this time. Ryan, what do you think?
Oh God, it's such a bummer. But maybe next season, man. This is if AI wrote movie of the year.
And Greg?
I think it's an interesting nomination, and I don't like that. It's just if you listed these to him, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I get it." But I do think it's a good nomination.
Here's
but
the thing you're
ran out of
forgetting,
votes.
Mike, is that everyone hates podcasters, but nobody hates podcasters more than other podcasters. So uphill battle.
Also, please do come on the show and be a guest.
Have your people reach out to us. We're not gonna. We here at Pop Filter don't reach out to other shows. If you want to be on the show, do what Pete did. You write a 20,000-word essay, a novella at that point. But why would
Treatise.
make a good guest.
Please help me. Raccoons have destroyed my house. This is really mean a lot.
And that's every time you return. So
Yeah.
that is the hardest of classes to get through. That is the Pop Filter Hall of Fame. Bruce and Sam, I guess Bruce's estate, come down and get your bust that we have carved of you. And of course, we also keep one of the carvings ourselves. We're going to take the quickest of breaks. When we come back, brick. Taste buds, our final question before we get to all the quickly read questions. In true noir fashion, Brendan has some, let's say, energy around the women in the movie that the genre typically does get a pass on. How does it play here? And does the fact that everybody's 16, the characters, change that conversation, Greg?
Honestly, I don't want to be the guy that gives this movie a pass, but because I see it so much as a noir movie, and honestly, like, it doesn't read at all to me as a high school movie, I honestly feel like this is a way in which I give it, like, a little bit of a pass, even though I tried to not say that. It honestly didn't register to me because it's got all the types of women from noir movies, and none of them are updated at all. But if you have my sensibilities towards the movie, that's kind of what you expect. I mean, first of all, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with being a femme fatale. Like that's at least a woman like making her own way in the world, like not taking shit from anybody. But like, I could see somebody being like, wow, this is kind of a retrograde portrayal of women in a 2006 high school movie. Sure, I could see that.
And I think it's also important to point out, too, that, first of all, Brendan is a dick to everybody, but he has a special spice for women. He's manipulating everybody if they're not his friend. And the one thing you don't want to be is his friend, because he's going to be way, way worse to you. But with all 3 of the women, Laura, Emily, and
Kara,
they're the only ones that are always ahead of him. And he can't crack them, and he's so frustrated because they're so complicated, and the rest of the boys are fucking 2-dimensional morons. Even like the pin, you like get through the, all of the drama and the wood panel room and his costume. After a couple seconds, you're like, okay, I got this guy pinned. But the girls are always. That's why he's so frustrated. There are scenes that are like that really suck, mostly with Emily, but like I think that's where it comes from.
I think it's clear that he has matrixed out how people work, and it works for the guys. The guys all will do A or B, and the girls are running a completely different software that makes him. He's already an angry dude, and he gets.
This might be a way
angry.
in which it is very high school.
Yeah, I never pushed a girl to the ground in high school, but that is you might just describe my high school experience.
One thing about high school is that the girls are like 4 years more advanced than the boys.
Yeah.
And so by the end of their high school careers, they're kind of like little adults, and the boys are still basically just like big children. And so in that way, it's like, I mean, the guy Tug, he doesn't even know how to stand or walk. Like
he's 4 foot nothing, Greg, and he's so muscular.
A little tugboat.
I think there are two, like, this is a great example of cognitive dissonance, kids. I think that Brick can be both, as you said, like a super faithful reproduction of film noir or just noir writ large gender politics. So it can inherit all of the genre's tendencies to make women symbols, right? And we have the temptation and we have the innocence and we have the betrayal characters. And they are that rather than being people. The film also is about limitation, right? Because the whole movie is sort of a portrait of this boy who is so locked into his own grief and anguish and his own sort of code that he literally cannot see women as anything but archetypes, right? And that flatness of women is the inside of Brendan's head all the time. And I think that's what JGL actually demonstrates quite well. And these three women who are young actors at the time are outperforming him just like high school women are outperforming the boys in their class. Like that is I think you're absolutely right. Like that is a great example of high school. They're outperforming.
There's a scene between Brendan and Kara where he's like, "You're manipulating me," and she's like, "I don't need to. Like, I just need to exist, and you have no idea what's happening." And the female characters are doing things behind the scenes more than the male characters. They're more like upfront with every action. But still, Kara just needs to like exist and have thoughts, and boys are running all over the place trying to figure out what she's telling you. Was there a part where Kara was getting head?
I've wondered this for 20 years, and the rewatches this week did not help.
I think his
you're
head,
like, "Yep," and sometimes you're like, "He is her literal footstool."
I think his head is just in her lap, and I just think that's like it's visual shorthand for that. Like that she has these anonymous boys, her freshman boys, like so under her thrall that you don't even realize they're there until they get up to go run a favor for her. But I don't think he's like down there giving her head. I think
when he ran away, he did not wipe his mouth.
Yeah, that's how you would know.
And I do I love the extra complication that, and this is probably just very noir, that Brendan was one of those boys, which is why I think he has extra anger for her, because it is the femme fatale who is like morally despicable, but it's also that anger you can only have for an ex in high school.
It's not just the ex part, though. It's the fact that Kara and Emily cannot be more clear that I am not into you at all. Like, I don't love you. Or, like, what with Kara, whatever we had is, like, I'm good. And that, I think, sends high school boys up the wall.
Emily calls him out because she says, "You don't love me. You just want to control me."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly...
And, he does ultimately best Laura, but he actually doesn't ever best Kara. Finally, he gives in and uses violence and then tries to humiliate her by ripping her clothes off and pushing her into a crowded room naked. But it's because he can't actually defeat her.
That's not a victory for him. That's like, you're proving you lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's just showing that you are a brute. And it mirrors so perfectly when he gets in an argument with Emily. We don't see this till near the end of the movie, but when he gets in an argument with her, she tries to pull away and he grabs her arm and he ends up throwing her down to the ground. He ultimately, like, what he is trying to, like, expunge from the school is what he himself is, which is that he's, like, a violent male that can't think his way out of problems most of the time. Ultimately, he does arc because he does manage to outsmart a girl, but it's like, but he doesn't outsmart 2 out of 3 of them. He finally does right at the end
because he's smarter and better than Tug and the football jock. You know,
he only outsmarts the guys, and one of the women that he so called out. Remember, one of the 3 of them is dead. Like, like that's things aren't
easy
working
to
out
outsmart.
great. Right. But, you know, I think it's interesting to just circle back on Johnson as a filmmaker. Like, what he's doing in Brick in 2005, it seems like he spent the subsequent 20 years moving decisively toward women as moral centers in his film. I mean, you got Marta in Knives Out, Helen in Glass Onion. I had to make a list. The entire female-led arc in The Last Jedi, right? Holdo and Rey and Rose. Charlie Cale in Poker Face. Like, it's almost like the genre handed him this thing, And it feels like he spent the last 20 years saying, but I don't really think that. Like, let's go ahead and make real movies about real people.
I'm so sorry, Pete. Holdo and Ray and Rose in the same movie. Why did people not like The Last Jedi? It's so confusing to me.
Luke Skywalker throws a lightsaber over his shoulder, Ryan.
That is a tired air horn for speed round. Who's this movie for? Noir fans? Teen movie fans? Podcast guys? Just Rian Johnson and the three of us?
The three of us, not counting Greg.
Well, again, I really like this movie.
I was kidding.
I just think there's some flaws for it. I think it is honestly for middle-aged men reflecting on high school, and because you guys said you liked it in high school though, right? Like when you were in you were in a high school-ish and you saw it and you liked it, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, I was far out of high school when I saw this movie.
Legally, you had to be.
I couldn't even be within 100 feet of a high school.
That was like the perfect setup. You're welcome.
Honestly, I think who it is, like one of the biggest groups that I think it's for is first-time filmmakers, to let them know what they are, like they could be capable of. There's so
they're not.
Yeah, they'll learn that. But there's so many filmmakers that are here represented here as like influence. But one of the ones that I did not see last time was this is like our new Clerks. 12 years, 13 years after Clerks, like this is sort of the go-to now. And I think there is some Clerks feel, not Kevin Smith oeuvre, but Clerks. And to the point where like, did Jay and Silent Bob run into each other and become Tug? Like just a character in the movie. I think that the whole, if you get the actors and you get the dialogue, the movie will work sort of attitude of Clerks is here. I think this is what you show first-time filmmakers.
I think this movie tricks you into thinking, like, I could do this. I bet if I grabbed my camera and had some bucks, I could do this. And there's no way anybody could make this movie except for Rian Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were saying me.
Oh, except for Rian.
I think this is a movie for film lovers. I really do. I think it's more than just a first-time film movie. I think it shows some incredible skill for a first-time filmmaker. But this isn't, I mean, we actually right now are living in sort of the halcyon days of first-time filmmakers. We're talking about this movie from 2006. At the same time, Backrooms and Obsession are in theaters right now, and they are stunningly good films and from very early filmmakers. So I don't know that they're certainly looking at films like this to make their movies. This is just a good movie. It's just a good movie that makes you feel stuff. It is competent. I never once feel like this director is leading me astray. The screenplay, I feel like I'm, as an audience member, I'm being held and pointed to what to look at all the right points. It is.
Sometimes, guys, it just boils down to this didn't feel like it had studio notes.
Yeah.
Right.
His parents giving him notes.
Why is there so much violence? That's his dad. This movie was made for, as we've talked about, under $500,000. Should critics maybe shut up and see what they could do with under $500,000?
Wow, that old chestnut. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that you shouldn't think of how much a movie costs to make when you are judging it. But it is very hard to not keep coming back to that number and thinking like, do I have problems with this movie? I'm not sure.
Do you know what I would do with $450,000? How many Bugattis could I get for that?
How many Bugattis? You get half of
one?
Yeah,
Maybe
half of a
third
Bugatti.
barely a Bugatti. I think you're outclassing
Yeah,
yourself.
I don't even think Bugatti's like $1 million car. You could get like some Ferraris.
Keeping in mind that you don't want to blow your pound-for-pound performance load, what no-name actor is the most surprising that their career did not take off after this film? And because they're no-names, you can say character.
Yeah, I didn't look this up, but I thought that the person who handled their material the best was Brain. I don't know his name, but
Matt O'Leary.
Matt O'Leary. Thank you, Pete. I thought Matt O'Leary was really good at the whole doing like, I'm here for the hero and I'm not sure why. And also, I'm very frustrated. And if the camera would follow me for one fucking scene, I could go off about him, but it doesn't.
Man,
Just a Brain episode.
Yeah.
Brendan never stops giving that guy orders. He just like, you go, you know what? I'm going to give you the rest of the night off. Get some sleep. What the fuck? I'm just another kid at the school.
I would have peed on his
Headcanon,
leg.
they were best friends in grade school and middle school and then just went slightly different ways in high school. And Brain's like, I mean, I guess you're my one friend, so if I don't do this, I have no friends. I love his delivery of lunch. Lunch is hard, which is like normally when like you gotta pay me a little something, but
lunch is a lot of things.
Lunch is a lot of things. Lunch is hard, man.
You guys, like his first conversation in the library is like, I need you to be the guy again. Right. What happened before? Like, who else got killed?
There's hints. Jer. Yeah. The hints
oh, you're
Jer
right. It's the Jer thing. Yeah.
Where's our middle school prequel?
One of the things I really like about this movie is the plot is a little bit bigger than the movie can encompass. And so there's this, like, obviously the action that separated him from Emily, at least in part, is he rats on this guy Jer, and that gives him some sort of relationship with the assistant vice principal, and not because he wanted the assistant vice principal to eat, but because he wanted to see Jer get eaten. And as a viewer,
great line, man.
I totally agree with that. And as a viewer, whenever you are shown that the story is bigger than the movie actually encompasses, that always works for me. That always makes me like feel like, wow, this is too big. You know, it can't all be fit within the machinery of this movie.
It's a comeback story by a hero who it didn't turn out like he wanted to last time.
Yeah.
So now he's trying to redeem himself with like true heroism because he's thought of as like a rat and a coward.
He ate the cheese and it cost him everything.
Cheese ate me.
Has Rian Johnson ever done drugs? Has he ever been in the same room as a drug? It just looks like somebody ground up cement, and then you know what I do with my drugs? I just leave it in a room. I just leave it in a dusty room.
If this city had a heroin problem to this degree amongst high school students, it would be a much different looking city.
Dude, I have to say, you can't start poking at the movie that way. You really can't, because if you start doing that, it's not going to hold together. I will say this. The movie is called Brick, and they literally just took a brick and painted it white. And they're like, this is drugs now. This is how you do drugs.
That paint, $450,000. But I could see him, like Pete was talking about Breaking Bad, I could see him on the set of that and being like, meth. Why wasn't it meth? That would have been right. But he had no idea.
Well, if meth can be blue, why can't heroin just be a brick?
I feel like they don't even want to settle on it being heroin, and then finally they have to finally say at one point, okay, wait, it's heroin. But for most of the movie, they're just like stuff, junk, dope.
Heroin.
I snorted a syringe.
If a femme fatale is sufficiently pretty, should the protagonist just give her a break?
I think that there's a lot of room to argue that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, she did a lot of hard work. She's very attractive. Can't we just kind of like let it skate?
Okay,
know?
top 5 ugly femme fatales in movie history.
But that's the thing. They're working so hard. We watch the detective work the case, like the entire movie, and we're always we don't get to actually see what the femme fatale does. But also, they usually run down exactly what did happen in the movie in their part at the end. And I have to say, for dum-dums like me, having a character be like, okay, here's what happened in the movie you just saw, right at the end is very helpful. Because I'm like, okay.
Which, if you've ever had to watch a movie with your mother, that is what happens. You have to do that.
Who is
what did
that?
She say when I asked you who that is?
It's the TriStar lady, Mom. You gotta fucking give it up. Our last speed round question, ripped right from the headlines of the movie. Do you still wish you knew what you wanted to know?
In my life?
Sure.
No. The true wisdom in this world is not to know the whole story.
Yeah. What you do is you put a microphone or you put a recorder in between your two friends when you know that they're about to talk about you, and then you never listen to that tape.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Oh, that seems really involved.
I'm trying to be Rian Johnson.
We are going to take the final quickest of breaks. And when we come back, let's give out some awards. Brick did get recognized at Sundance, as we said at the beginning, but the Oscars completely ignored it, as they often do.
Boo.
With small movies. So we're going to fix that and give it some awards. My notes tell me that this is our first Rian Johnson. That's crazy. Except not really, because we don't do the 2000s much. And
do you think that if we did the year of Last Jedi, that's making the Sweet 16?
I think so. I mean, just for the controversy alone. Do you imagine the hits on YouTube we're going to get when a clip says, and we love this movie? Oh, man.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be interesting to talk about The Force Awakens. It'd be kind of interesting to us, but not interesting to listen to, for us to talk about the 9th one. But I think that like it would be super fun to get into and talk about what a weird take on Star Wars The Last Jedi is.
We would have to talk about Solo, or 120 Days of Sodom.
See, that would have been an interesting take on Star Wars.
Different.
Looper, we could do Looper, I see. And this
Yeah.
is our first JGL. Again, it's our first everybody. And I think those are the only two names we might see in the future.
I got one.
What? Who?
It's our
Where?
second Mary Kay Place, who played the secretary in Being John Malkovich.
And she is
Nice.
the Pin's
The
mom.
Pin's mom.
Mom. Yeah.
Nice. You know what, Ryan? Good facts. All right, let's give some awards, starting with iPhoning it in. What would an iPhone have solved instantly? Pete?
Well, I mean, the entire plot is
Yeah.
basically a dead drop, right? Like hand-drawn maps, payphones, notes in lockers.
Almost
Yeah,
impossible to winnow this one down to one
Yeah,
moment.
it's like the whole thing, the whole movie. And you know that the pin had an AirTag on a brick.
Exactly. Yes. Or how about just the flashlight feature on the phone? Man, there's so many different aspects of the iPhone that were made to solve the plot in this movie.
So, Greg, is that yours?
Mine is when he goes, I got to get voicemail. You know what's great for voicemail? An iPhone.
In fact, do you know what makes your life better? Taking your iPhone and bricking it.
Just throw it in the river right next to Emily.
Ryan, what's yours?
I think that great of a detective as Brendan is, I think that if this was 2007, he would have found Laura's phone and opened it and read every detail of the case right away. Like, I don't know pre-iPhone how she was figuring out how to do all this stuff. Like, that's a lot of legwork and payphoning, but there would have been so many texts if there was just an iPhone.
As somebody who hunted, because I was not in an era where it was easy to get a pager when I was in high school, but I hunted and found one. I also had the payphones mapped out in my city, and it was a pager that had voicemail. Best of all worlds, unless you were somebody who wanted to get in touch with me.
Payphones are so prevalent in this movie that in the first scene, one of the early scenes, he's at a payphone and he's being observed across the street by somebody else at a payphone. Wow.
And a fun fact, the mansion that they partied at, it was just like a millionaire was refurbishing his mansion, filled with a collection, true story, of payphones. You don't see that in the movie. People loved payphones. They were on their way out. All right, we're going to give that one to Pete for the whole plot.
Sorry.
Fashion. What fashion stood out to you, Ryan?
Automatically, this goes to Laura. So it's figuring out which Laura outfit to pick because she's the one who actually dressed the part. I'm going to go to her sort of Chinese-inspired red dress and the hair clip at the aforementioned payphone hotel. Of just like the perfect way of showing, like Brendan dresses like Al Bundy, right? It's like, I don't want anybody to read anything from my clothes, gray jacket, whatever. But she's like, no, I am an adult. Like if I met her, and if we were both in high school, I would have turned into a puddle because she just dresses the part for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Can I say that party is another area where it's definitely very high school. It's all got like this eyes wide shut setup, and then the second he walks in, it's just a bunch of high school kids all standing apart from each other, kind of leaning against walls and not looking at anything. They would have been looking at their iPhones nowadays, but back then they didn't even have that to do, so they're just kind of like awkwardly not interacting.
One person is doing performance art, making everybody listen to her play piano. One guy is just screaming the same 3 lines. We hear him scream throughout the whole movie because he's drunk and boring.
Yeah, it also reminded me of Sweet Sweetback, that whole party play that they put on.
Oh, yeah.
Greg, what is your fashion?
I agree that it's definitely going to be something that Laura wore, and so I'm going to go with the meetup that she has with Brendan at the end. I love a coat. Obviously, I think I picked some coat from like every movie where we do this, but it's like a floor length coat or like an ankle length coat, and it's got this really dramatic like fur collar. And then if I can also throw in, she's got this very interesting, she's got short hair, but she's got like this clip in her hair. And it's just, another moment that really captures the fact that she feels like her fashion fits into the noir setting so perfectly while still kind of being like the way a high schooler might dress. I mean, high school is a time where you don't have much of your own history anyway, and so you kind of like grab and pick from different aspects of history, and she seems to be like have a very vintage style of clothes.
It's interesting that Kara is the theater girl, because the theater girls I knew straight up dressed and tried to act like Laura. In high school. Pete, what is your fashion?
I can't believe both of you guys went with the femme fatale fashion and missed, I think, the bang-on bullseye best fashion pick of the movie, and that's the pins, cane, and cape. There is something about him in that cane and cape. Like, what is going on? The full gothic crime lord cosplay run is outstanding in his mother's basement. I think all of that plays. And I did have a buddy in high school who wore a duster, like a full-on duster in school. So, yeah, it's definitely Lucas Haas.
Mine would have been Brendan's shoes. He tries to dress forgettable, but it's clear like a loved grandfather or uncle gave him these nice shoes. So instead of just being in sneakers like a normal kid, he's a pretentious douche. Yeah. And so he's also, I'm going to wear good shoes.
He uses it to his advantage in that chase, right? That chase, they're clomping along so hardcore. And then he's like, man, if I just scoot these bad boys off my feet, I'll be silent running.
Yeah, that seems dope. We're going to give that to Ryan's Laura's outfit. Next up is cringe. What part made you cringe? Pete. We'll start with you.
Well, I feel like we've already fully litigated the women reduction part, so I'll lay off of that. That's where I was gonna go, but I do think the slang density occasionally dances right up to the edge of like self-parody. I think he does use the word yeet in a 1930s kind of aesthetic at one point. I think that stuff, like it before you get into the sort of real depth of the movie, if you don't grab onto it, you're going to be laughing at it and not with it. Which
is funny because we were alive then, but if you're watching Maltese Falcon, I guess that's how they talk.
Yep.
Right. There's a part where he's being choked, where rather than just communicate directly, he like gives this long like slang combo, and it's like, you're being strangled, dude. Just be like, stop strangling me, please.
100% that, yes.
Ryan, what is your cringe?
My cringe is actually, I don't know, a compliment to the movie, I think. My cringe is, and this happened to me, my wife came down, she said she was going to watch this movie with me, and then like she usually does, right before I put it on, she's like, I don't want to do that. But she came in during one scene, and she could not believe the embarrassing garbage she was watching. And so my cringe is any one scene is weird. You
can't just like dip into this movie.
Oh. The movie does an incredible job of setting up how the whole movie works. And if you were to isolate any one part, it sort of proves that.
Yeah. Greg?
Mine also might be intentional. I can't tell or not. But when you have characters reading in a movie, I'm always trying so hard to see what they're reading. And Brendan is carrying a book in 3 different scenes in this movie. And he's clearly a reader. I like the headcanon of like that he and Brain were probably like middle school friends. And they were both like in the advanced classes. And they're both like geniuses, essentially. But he's always carrying a book, and we never fucking get to see what book it is. And that is like, I don't know, like some people have like, if you have an unresolved melody, it like gives them a headache or whatever. That gives me a fucking headache. Let me see what he's reading so I can like figure him out a little bit more.
It's called brick script.
I mean, it's definitely going to be like the Maltese Falcon, right? It's going to be like what Rian Johnson liked to read. But just fucking show that to me then. Don't show me that there is a book and then I can't know what the book is. I hate that.
It's just Animorphs. Just has not grown up.
You guys wouldn't understand it. They're people, but they're also animals.
There's these worms. It's too complicated. Mine is, I'm going to give this one to Pete because mine is a specific. I think everybody gets their mouth around the crazy slang for the most part decently. But our poor baby Tug. There is a scene, and I remember him being my favorite character as a kid. And there's a scene where I think he shows the cracks, And they're at the table, and Brendan's like, so I'll clam. And he pulls up the little chicken pitcher. He goes, so clam, what have you got that I can't beat out of you back in the basement? And delivers it about as well as I just did.
No, yeah, that was a good reading.
It's real sweaty. And
Can I just say, shout out to Southern California basements. It's not that there are no basements in Southern California. You do occasionally come across a house that has one. Mm-hmm. Very, very rare, though. And so it's always nice to see one extra room at the bottom of your house for doing crimes or whatever.
We love it. Or like you set up the old big TV, all the gaming stations.
You let all the kids go down there and just scream and roughhouse.
And then you stomp down the stairs when you go, I'm coming down to check on you. So they get their hands out of each other's pants.
Yeah, get that marijuana roach.
To my first girlfriend's dad, who would always stomp and yell. Let's take a break from awards and give some recommendations. Ryan, if you liked this, what else would you like?
Well, Magic, as you and Greg know, the three of us, we only have one rule, and that is, of course...
There are no rules.
No,
wait, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Close. Mike?
Rules are your best friend.
Okay. Pete, the only rule the three of us have is that we never buy a video game on opening day. We wait till the price drops. And I fucked that up recently by buying Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which this movie has 10 bricks. That game has countless. It's almost all bricks. And I got to say, guys, I think it was worth it. It's been a long time since I paused a game and then was like, I don't think I'll play that ever again. But instead, want to go play it again. They figured out that maybe their audience was growing a little bit, growing up. And so all they had to do was just make it more like every other game that exists. But that works because it's still Lego. So it's basically Arkham Asylum. They take all of the eras of Batman and sort of combine it into whatever they want to do at the time instead of saying this is this own Earth, whatever number. You two, wait. It's fine. You guys wait till the price drops 50% and then get it, but highly recommend.
With all new games, I ask, will this be on Switch number 1?
Mm-hmm.
This one might actually be on Switch 1. I'm not sure, but it might be.
I just don't see me buying a new system ever again.
That's a form of death, Mike.
Hey, gotta die sometime. Pete, what is your recommendation?
Well, I should have come in with something clever like the Lego bit.
Don't worry, I didn't, Pete. So don't feel,
okay.
don't feel stressed. Mine's dumb as hell.
I went back with one of my kids, and we started watching Veronica Mars, and it's a killer pick. It is teen noir detective from the exact same moment, but it's totally gender flipped and deeply committed to the conceit. And so if you're into this, I think a young Kristen Bell and crew and the people who traipsed through that show, I think went on to equally notable careers. It was a real, grow lamp, weird, for young talent.
It takes place in an very different, equally saturated beach city in California than Rick does. So,
yeah.
And Enrico Colantoni, he would go on to do amazing things.
Amazing things.
I do love that guy. Greg, what's yours?
I just couldn't get this movie out of my head, and it's because it's another crime drama, I think. But it is also a genre movie, and I love the genre. Looper from 2012, also Rian Johnson joint. It is rightly considered a sci-fi movie, but it's actually very much like a cyberpunk movie because it's more of that near sci-fi, and people are starting to develop psychic powers, and the world is not falling apart, but is actively falling apart. It's another movie like Brick, where if the characters themselves are stop poking at the premise, stop thinking about time. It's about time travel, and almost every character goes, stop talking about time travel. It'll just confuse everybody. And it's do not think about the implications. And honestly, that is not a complaint. Time travel movies are too confusing most of the time, and this one's just we'll tell you what happens. Don't worry about it. You've got two different Bruce Willises. I think I'm on record with how much I like
Pop Filter Hall of Famer.
Pop Filter Hall of Famer Bruce Willis. And honestly, somebody saw Brick and was like, what if we gave this dude money? Like, could he do stuff with money? And I think he really can. It's visually a lot more interesting. And it's got a lot of really good action. It's an awesome time at the movies. And I watched it again this week for the third time ever. And I think it was my favorite viewing of it.
Mine. So Pete gets a couple extra points because Veronica Mars. Another one is, I feel like it's his least talked about movie. Rian Johnson is Brothers Bloom. Brick is remembered because it's his first, and then Looper more put him on the map, and then everything that's since. But yeah, Brothers Bloom, it's Adrian Brody and Mark Ruffalo and Rachel Weisz just fucking capering and conning their way through, and I think it's delightful.
Con man movies are so fun.
And this
is a really good one.
I've never seen it. It's the only one I've never seen.
Ricky Jay, my good friend, narrates the whole thing.
Now, Mike, Ryan says he hasn't seen it. Would you recommend that he see it?
Ryan, you know what? I recommend
there you go.
See it.
I will watch it before next week.
Really?
No.
Oh. You feel like you would, right?
Yeah, I mean, while I was saying the sentence, it felt so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
then you thought about your life.
Because you're
an extra movie.
How long is a movie? But there's literally no room for that movie.
All right.
Hopefully you get sick or something.
Yeah, hopefully I get sick.
Hopefully you get super sick.
Oh, I bet, buddy, I'm always just hoping you get sick. Greg, pound for pound performance.
Again, I'm first thought in my way through this entire show. He is so magnetic in this movie. I couldn't look away. There's a lot of amateur actors. He is a legitimate star. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he has the most lines. And so it's tough for him to be pound for pound because he's on the screen most of the time. But like, I think this movie works or doesn't work based on how committed he is. And even like, it's not even the way he talks. It's the way he looks through so much of it. He just has so much presence on screen. And anytime you are watching him, you have no doubt that you are watching a Hollywood movie, regardless of like what other, impediments there might be to thinking, if it's just hand cam shot by a bunch of kids. No, Hollywood movie, and it's because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
There's an amazing thing that he does throughout the movie, which is sort of take care of his glasses.
Yeah.
And it's always in this sort of like, I know what's going to happen way.
Like when Tug comes over to punch him, and so he takes them off and puts them in the case real quick.
And he like rolls his eyes because he knows what's coming, but it's not in a Scream way. Like, I've seen these movies before.
Right.
He's just seen his story in this weird, like, he is so knowing in everything he does, and then yet we get to discover all the stuff with him. I totally agree with what Greg said about like, once you have him and let's say like you were guaranteed that he's going to be as good as he is in this movie, I don't fucking care who else is in this movie. I would say that there are a lot of performances here that are lacking, like that are really to go back to your earlier question, Mike, that I'm not surprised that their career did not take off from there, but it's all on his shoulders.
The guy who played Dode is Ian Looper.
Oh.
So yeah, he's part of the stable he's in a lot of Johnson stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Ryan, who is your PFP?
Oh, JGL.
Okay. I couldn't tell, but cool. Pete.
I'm going to stick with my man, Lucas Haas. And I'll tell you, I think when you talk pound for pound menace per minute, he's not in the movie that much. And he still makes lives with his mom scary. I think it plays, and the fact that he's in this teenage noir movie, and I just started watching Spider Noir, and he's already right in the first episode. Are you kidding me? It was meant to be. Circle completes the square.
And you know what he does really well, Pete? He does he is like the pin, right? He's the guy, and he gets built up for the first half of the movie. But he does the best job of suddenly seeming, even though he's 26, he does the best job of suddenly seeming like a kid again.
Yeah.
He does it several times. And one of the times is when he's getting beaten by Tug, the way he's screaming, "Brendan, help me." It's like, oh my God, this is not a kingpin. This is just a little boy.
Right.
He's just a kid.
It's all a performance. It's all a performance.
The other one I want to point out is outside of the big A, like the gutter hole that Emily dies out or is dragged to and then dragged into. Him watching Dode and Tug and in a little way Brendan scream at each other, like he isn't in charge and he wants information, and watching that face isn't like the king, like Wilson Fisk or Don Corleone. Like he's like, what the fuck is gonna happen right here?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Like especially when you have someone so unpredictable as Tug. Like that guy was always just outside, or like could be just outside of his control at any moment.
It's the Praetorian Guard, right? Like they guard the emperor.
But what if they don't?
But like, who guards the emperor from them?
Right.
A pin moment, and this is not Lucas's acting, but the character detail I love is he loves the 70s basement aesthetic so much he decks out his van in the same way.
With the same
With
lamp.
that lamp,
Fucking cool,
forget
man.
it. Yeah.
Is that a second lamp, or does he say, all right, let's take a car ride, unplug the lamp from his office and take it to the van?
Well, I mean,
Take it in
he
and put it
doubled
next
up
to
on
the
the
eagle bust.
Yeah, right. He doubles up on that eagle statue. So
The other thing that's so baller about him is that, like, okay, my mom put a cookie on a napkin, but I'm too tough to. No, I'm gonna take a little bite. I'm gonna take
a little bite, and I'm going to hold it with both hands.
what am I made of steel?
I'm going to show that I have self-control and only nibble.
Carbs.
Mine is Nora Zehetner. She plays Laura, and I think she says the crazy talk the best right after JGL. And I think she's a believable femme fatale and not knowing what side she's on throughout the film. Finally, director's signature moment, Pete.
I mean, I feel like I'm really perseverating on this moment, but it's the kitchen scene at the Pin's house. Forget it. Mom serving apple juice. That absurdity is exactly Rian Johnson's like sweet spot. Like there are those moments. I mean, you said it. Luke throws his lightsaber over his shoulder. Like those kinds of beats are the risks and the swings that he's takes in his movies. It's the Knives Out trilogy is full of them, and I think this is his first great effort at doing it on the big screen. It's perfect.
There is this kind of like conceit in the movie of Brendan having literal like paper thrown over his face or garbage bags thrown over his face and him like ripping it away. And that is established in the like one of the early scenes of it is he's looking at the thing that says midnight and it's got the symbol on it. And right behind it is you can see the clock and it says 11:59. And right as it switches to 12, he falls asleep and has a dream wherein he like discovers what this location is, and part of it is Emily comes out of the dark tunnel, and I like his use of like shadow in this, especially in like a movie that is not just black and white. Like it does make use of darkness very effectively, and as she comes out, also this like huge long garbage bag comes out and then covers up Brendan's face, and then he wakes up and he suddenly like basically puts everything together all at the same time. It's a very like kind of interesting imagistic way of like the way in which our brain makes connections where we can't figure something out, and then behind the scenes like something within us does figure it out. And I just thought that was an interesting bit of filmmaking. Fun fact, they had to shoot that backwards because they couldn't make the garbage bag run that way. And so they covered the camera with a garbage bag, pulled it back down the tunnel, and then Emily just walked backwards into the tunnel. When you don't have much money, you got to think of solutions for things like that.
And props to her for not moonwalking, because I would have done that.
Honestly, dude, it is like the actor that plays Tug can't even walk forwards in a way that looks normal. And so to be able to walk backwards like that, very effective.
And also, if you listen closely, when he's trying to walk forwards, he goes, tug, 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 tug.
Ryan, what is your director's signature?
I think everything we need is in the scene in the basement. JGL goes downstairs, and we know how dangerous this is, that he's there in the Pin's house. Like, anybody could walk in at any point, so the tension's already ramped up. He does find the brick that's a brick. But the only light we get is from a little bit of sunlight that he finds a mirror. And so that's, we're doing the noir thing of like everything's dark except for specifically what the director wants you to see. And in this case, it is JGL angling the mirror like a flashlight because no iPhone. But that's also like, that's some Raiders shit. Like that Indiana Jones figured out some stuff by like finding that mirror and aiming it.
Also, that shaft of light is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, movies are like a love affair with light, and that shaft of light is the most beautiful thing in the entire movie.
You can smell the basement. It smells like the Pop Filter Hall of Fame, just old and dank. But then we get Tug coming down, and then they accidentally hit the mirror, so it starts flipping. Tug pins JGL, Brendan, up against the wall, and that mirror is what provides us of that like interrogation scene light swing,
Yeah.
you know? So like, I'm going to use the trope, but because we're in this world, I am going to explain it a little bit. And I think this is just him Johnsoning all over the place in a good way.
Those are the awards. And shocking all the listeners, but not everybody who's watching, including my panelists, here's how it shook out. Pete, our guest, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A career best 93 points. That's pretty damn good.
It is an improvement over the last time, but I think they changed scorekeepers.
Who knows who's doing that? Greg, you have 92 points.
That's true. So that's
And-
first place?
No, that would be at least after Pete, but you're both after Ryan with 96 points. And I
Well
gotta
played.
take
Well
Thank
played.
you guys. That's thanks to everybody. Mostly to Mike.
who knows if Mike's the one keeping score. What could this win at the end of the season? What of our awards could Brick get?
Oh man, I think based on how we talked tonight, and I felt strong about it before, and then now way more. JGL is in the running for Best Actor. The way that like his
I
amount
agree
of
with that.
responsibility here could carry him to at least a nom.
If we are igniting the category of best car, the 1971 Mustang Sportback is,
Is that Tugs?
yeah, that is a fucking beautiful vehicle. My neighbor or someone in my neighborhood has one of those. Just a gorgeous car. There's like Mustangs and then there's Mustangs, and this is like one of the most beautiful Mustangs of all time.
Boy, the problem
And
is
also-
you guys have some movies coming up on the slate. It's pretty early to make this compete
yeah.
with some other 2006s.
I think, I mean, we're going to have so many shitheads, but Brad, the quarterback, who we barely talked about.
Oh my God.
Is
Yeah.
one of the shittiest shitheads in any movie. I think
His whole thing is put me in the game. You're the backup. You're the backup, whatever you are. Why are you talking so much?
because he's a stupid asshole. I never caught until this week that he basically just has the same monologue 3 times.
Over and
Yes.
over and over
What a
again.
bore to be around.
I wonder how many kids though watched this movie and said, "Oh, I could beat up the high school whatever quarterback,"
Yeah,
and then just got the
tried.
shit kicked out of them.
Well, you have to use the little Mac jump uppercut. He does that move several times. If you are smaller than the guy, you have to do a jump uppercut.
And do you have the stars to do like
Yeah,
a
that's the
full-on
thing.
one?
You got to hit select.
Gotta hit select. That is the show. Pete, tell everybody where they can find you.
All of our movie podcasts that we do are available over at thenextreel.com. And we'd love you to check us out over there. We've got, we just released our slate of our 16th season. And we've got some awesome movies that we picked up. So that'll start in August. And so we're about to take our July break. So come hang out with us over there.
We will. Breaks must be nice. We need to unionize over here at Movie of the Year. We don't get those. That is the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Until next week, keep watching those movies. Goofy, tell them how they did. Boom.
The perfect